George Galloway. Okay, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go, whether I'm going to talk now and then George is going to talk, or what the exact organisation of tonight is. Basically though, what I want to impress upon you as much as possible is it's vital that George Galloway wins in this constituency. And I want to ask you a simple question. Why is it that Imran Khan was not defeated in Pakistan? Why was it that he was not defeated? You know why? Because he's ready to die. Because he's ready to die for what he believes. I'm somebody, it's okay, it's absolutely fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm somebody that traveled to Gaza with George Galloway when he took the step to break the siege of Gaza. We're talking about an Israeli-imposed, an Egyptian-enforced, and a US-supported siege on 2 million people. We're talking about a child mortality rate of 23%. We're talking about 95% of the water unfit for human consumption. We're talking about the most powerful governments in the world enforcing a siege that made sure those people died. Slow, incremental deaths. And George took that move to break that siege because he was ready to die. You don't take moves like that. You don't take moves like that. You don't mobilize people in the way that he did if this was not an eventuality that you were at ease with. They tried everything to stop him. They mobilized all manner of dirty tricks. Now we are in front of an opportunity to enact the revenge of history. And when I say enact the revenge of history, I'm not just talking about the over 30,000 people in Gaza that have been killed by Israel and its partners, the United States and Britain. I'm talking about the 1 million people that were killed in Iraq by Tony Blair's Labour Party. That is who you will be. That's what I mean by the revenge of history. Keir Starmer's Labour Party needs to understand very clearly that it is a toxic brand within our communities. When the war on terror was launched in 2001, you are talking about 20 years. 20 years of, on average, 46 bombs being dropped per day by the United States and its allies. At that time, the Labour Party had over 50,000 shares within BAE Systems, the largest arms company in this country. That is an example of insider trading, if ever there was one. Now, when somebody goes to the seat of US power, to the corridors of the United States government, looks them in the eye and says to them, I am not the criminal, you are the war criminals. You know when a person does that? That person is ready to die for what they believe in. would stand out from among the political class and support you. But those people on the other end of those bombs are people that I consider my siblings, people that I consider myself to have an affinity with. It would be a crass act of ingratitude if I were not to turn around and pay tribute and support the individual that took that risk to support the life of myself and others just like me. Now, the overall point that I want to make is that within this country, we are winning and we can win more. Israel's largest arms company, Elbit Systems, used to have 10 sites across this country, and it doesn't anymore. And if you want to know why it doesn't have those sites anymore, you can take a trip not so far down the road and ask them in Oldham. Oldham is the name that beat Israel. The inhabitants of Oldham, so underestimated and neglected by the millionaires in Parliament in London, beat Israel. The inhabitants of Oldham, in tandem with Palestine Action, shut down Ferranti Technologies, and a subsidiary of Elbit Systems. And you know what? Not only did they shut it down, Elbit Systems had to sell the factory at a loss. They had to sell the subsidiary Ferranti Technologies at a loss.
Good.
What about that most pro-Israel of political figures, Keir Starmer? Now let's be clear about Keir Starmer. On Israel, Keir Starmer is to the right of Margaret Thatcher. Why would I say that? Because when agents of Israeli intelligence killed the Palestinian cartoonist Naji al-Ali in Knightsbridge, what did Margaret Thatcher do? She expelled Israeli diplomats and intelligence agents from the country. Keir Starmer, in his constituency, used to have the main offices for Elbit Systems in this country, and he doesn't anymore. And you know why? 2 words: Palestine Action. We have entered a new phase of struggle in this country against Israeli fascism. We have entered a new phase of the Zionist project. And the wars to come are the following: Lebanon and Al-Aqsa. The Israeli Ministry of Education and the Israeli Ministry of Culture have pumped millions into an organization by the Temple Institute, which has the stated objective of replacing Al-Aqsa compound with another building. Let's be clear, these are the stakes. Now, when Israel takes that move, which I guarantee it will, what will be the voice in Parliament that represents you? Will it be a careerist who is looking out for their future job? Or will it be somebody who's proven time and time again that they will look the Zionists in the eye and stand up for the Palestinian people?
Galloway!
And those are the stakes. These wars are coming. We have to be prepared to support the Palestinians. We have a political and security system in this country which is more integrated with the Israelis than ever in the history of this country. I am talking about on multiple levels of integration. From the company that the British police used to hack phones, it is an Israeli intelligence firm headed by alumni of Unit 8200. I'm talking even to the company that the police use in their investigations by the name of Nice Systems. This company is a subsidiary of Elbit Systems. You wouldn't have known it from looking at the news, but across this period of genocide in Gaza, you have had 65 spy missions flown by the British forces on top of Gaza. The R1 Shadow spy plane. That plane, one of its specialities is target acquisition. During this period, you have had the Aquatori base in Cyprus used by the British for intelligence gathering, and they've shared that information with the NSA, the US NSA, which is then shared with the Israelis. You had a D-notice early on in this genocidal war issued by the government to those in the media not to publish information about British Special Forces activity in Gaza. Now, why would they do that if there was no SAS activity in Gaza? Britain is a direct participant, not just diplomatically, not just politically, but militarily in what is happening in Gaza. There are 100 companies in this country that participate in the building of the F-35 that Israel uses on Gaza. There are many companies that provide components for the F-16s that Israel uses in Gaza. There are all manner of components for the Apache helicopters that Israel uses in Gaza being produced in this country. And in addition to that, when we see the footage of a woman on the floor being sniped by the Israeli military, and then followed by her son also being sniped. The sniper rifles have been sold to the Israelis by Britain. They've also been sold components for sniper rifles. Now, Britain is a signatory to the Arms Trade Treaty, meaning that exports should not be made if Britain has, quote-unquote, any reason to believe those exports may be used for violations of international humanitarian law. Britain breaks its own laws by arming Israel. You do not have this point of view reflected in the political class today in any meaningful and effective way. When, on the 29th of this month, you go and vote, and you vote for George Galloway, you are voting for the starving children of Gaza. You are voting for the most downtrodden in the Gaza Strip, and you are voting for the liberation of the Palestinians from Zionist fascism. You are voting for humanity, and you are voting for a better future for all of us. Thank you very much.
Good